Hi, I'm Deborah Baska, and I am a 10-star diamond, 3-time elite coach, and I am the founder of Team Dare to Dream. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about branding. And that basically means about you. What you may not realize is when you sign up as a Beachbody Coach, you are creating your own brand. Beachbody is not your brand. You are your brand. People buy from people. People relate to people, not companies, not products. And that's the reason why the Team Beachbody Coach Network has been so successful, because we are real people dealing with real people, helping real people. So I'm going to go through a little bit of background about how you begin creating your brand. The first thing you need to identify is who you are. And that really starts with your story. You hear a lot of coaches talk about your story. What's your story? And after talking to many, many new coaches, this was the epiphany that I had. You all don't know your own story. You don't know what makes you special, what makes you unique. And I'm not going to lie and tell you that I knew that when I became a coach either. I remember the first time I had to go through a branding exercise in a training program that I purchased. And it was so uncomfortable for me. And so you're going to get uncomfortable over the course of this training, because you have to describe yourself, and you have to describe not only the good things, but the bad things, the ugly things, the struggles. And in fact, what you're going to learn is that oftentimes it's the struggles that make you the most relatable. So here's a little bit of background about me, my story, some of the words that describe me. I'm a wife, 21 years. I'm a mother. I'm a stepmother. I've had 2 C-sections. I'll soon be an empty nester. I'm a former performer, a former NFL cheerleader. I was a straight A student. I had eating disorders growing up. I am an alcoholic, 8 years in recovery. I started Beachbody as a customer. I'm a raging introvert. In fact, that's why I love being a Beachbody coach, because I don't have to get out and about and live and in person with people. I love talking to you guys just like this. Those are some of the things about me. One of the things that I look at when I'm describing all those things, because I gave you some pretty painful details about myself. And I have to tell you that when I first became a coach, I would not have told anybody about some of those struggles. They were shameful things: eating disorders, alcoholism, addiction, depression. I am clinically depressed. Chemically, physically, I have depression. Those are not things that I thought that my audience would want to know about me, being somebody positive and inspiring. But through my personal development, I learned that all parts about me are okay. They're all parts that make me who I am. And the one word I really use to describe who I am, my brand, is an overcomer. I'm an overcomer. So yeah, I have all these kind of icky things in my background, but I'm an overcomer. I have overcome so many things. And so those are just some things that when I had to do what I'm going to ask you to do, is I had to write down, okay, Nate, list out all the parts of you that make you you. And you're going to struggle with that. You're going to start with wife, mother, you're going to name your occupation, and then you're going to get stuck. And you're not going to have anything else to write down. So you're going to have to dig really deep. So that's why I wanted to give you some of those examples. So how do you wrap all of these things into a brand? Well, we're going to go through the course of this training. I'm going to have you identify who you are. So I'm going to give you a worksheet, and you're going to identify all the things about you that make you unique and special. And then I'm going to have you identify who your ideal customer is. because you need to know, part of your brand is knowing who you're talking to and who you relate. You've got to have a message. I remember when I first became a coach and I heard this idea, I thought, well, I don't want to eliminate anybody. I want everybody to be my customer, right? And so I didn't want to target my message. But once you realize who you are and you realize that you have a message, it will become quite apparent who you really want to talk to. That doesn't mean other people aren't going to hear you or relate to you, but you really do need to know who your target audience is. And then we're going to have you create your story. We're going to work a lot on that because that's something you have to get good at. You have to get comfortable. It's going to evolve over time. The story that you create right now is going to be very different from the story that you want to share 4 years from now. So one of the first things I want to tell you about brand, the biggest brand that you have is called consistency. So people need to know what to expect from you. So Chalene Johnson, she's one of the brand experts that I follow. She talked about her brand and that she's family friendly. She wants to be relatable. She kind of wants to be seen as your friend, as the girl next door, as somebody that's your best friend, not someone you feel competitive with or uncomfortable with. So she says, she's not going to go, you're not going to see pictures of her on her Facebook all oiled up in a slinky bikini. You might see some oiled up pictures of her on some of her some of her marketing materials that Beachbody puts together, but that's not who she's going to be. She's not going to be posting pictures like that because that's not the kind of message that she wants to portray to her audience. She wants to be very relatable. And if she were to start posting these sexy, skimpily clad pictures, that would be inconsistent with what her audience, what her tribe, and that's really another word you need to write down. Who is your tribe? That would be inconsistent with what her tribe was coming to expect from her. And so, the same thing with me. I'm not going to get on my Facebook page and I'm not going to bash other people. I'm not going to just be all woe is me, negative Nelly. I'm not going to I'm not gonna cuss on my page because that's not, the brand that I've come to expect. I want my page to be welcoming and friendly, Christian oriented. And so these are just things you have to think about. Consistency. Because think about it. Think about Chalene. If people were coming to her page and they're bringing their friends and their family and their kids because they know what to expect, and all of a sudden they see this pinup pose of her, they're going to be put off, right? So consistency. You have to, again, that's why you have to know what your message is and you have to be consistent with it. Your pictures, your posts, your profile picture, your banner, all need to be consistent. If your message is family, faith, fun, and fitness, then think about how you can wrap all that together into the post and the message that you're creating. Second, of course, you need to identify what makes you you. So you're going to make a list. And remember, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You will always attract who you are. You will attract people that respond to your story. And this is important. You want to attract people that are like you, that you like, that you can relate to, that if you met them at a cocktail party or at a coffee bar, you would relate to them. You would have things to talk about, things in common. You attract who you are. So really think about who you are. And here's another thing. Sometimes you might, for instance, being an overcomer. Maybe you think, well, I'm shy. I'm just attracting a bunch of shy, unconfident people because that's who I am. That's who you see yourself as. And that's something I had to tweak in my own message because one time I was attracting people and I'm like, why am I attracting people like this instead of people like that? And I really had to think about my message and tweak it a little bit. And again, go from that point of pain, because I am an introvert. I have had periods where I was very socially awkward and lacked in confidence, but I had to move over to that message of being an overcomer and how I've overcome. And even though I still have those issues, how I'm able to deal with them through personal development, through relationships and things like that. So again, you attract who you are. So when you're looking at the people that are following you, that will be a good sign of what you're putting out there. The third thing you need to remember is you want to be you times 2. And what that means is you at your best, you on your best day. So that doesn't mean you always have to be perfect. That doesn't mean you have to have your hair all fixed and your makeup on. But, think about presenting your best foot forward in whatever situation you're in. So, again, not getting, if you're angry and you've got road rage because you're stuck in traffic, not getting on your Facebook page and, before you start doing this, you really should think about it. You times 2, you at your very best. Be your best you. The fourth thing that we're going to talk about in the course of this training is how to share your story, and you're going to share it everywhere. And for instance, we call it breadcrumbing. So in a YouTube video, maybe you make a longer story where you share, more details about yourself, and it's several minutes long. Maybe on Facebook, you want to do a short 30-second snippet of that story in a video. Maybe you want to do a post that's just a paragraph with a picture. Maybe a picture speaks your story. There's many different ways to share your story, and you want to use all of them. And you don't have to reveal your whole self. It's not a biography or autobiography in one fell swoop. We call it breadcrumbing, and I mentioned that before. So you just reveal details about yourself. Again, if you're being real, if you're talking in your real voice, you are going to come out. And finally, how do you start doing this? So the first thing you're going to do, like I said, we're going to create that list. I'm just reviewing here. These are the things we're going to do over the course of this workshop. We're going to create the list that's all about you. You're going to evaluate where you're at right now. You're going to look at your page. You're going to see, are you being genuine? Are you being real? Is your voice out there? Or are you just copying a lot of other people? That's the thing that a lot of newer Beachbody coaches do because they're so uncertain about who they are, is they're copying others. And I can tell you that many, many successful coaches started out doing that, and they will tell you that when they stopped copying and trying to be other people, their business exploded. I cannot copy and mimic the life of a coach that's 35 and has a toddler and is breastfeeding a baby, and I just can't. I'm not that person. I'm not that life. That's not my audience. That's not who I'm talking to. That's not the season that I'm at in my life. I've been there, but that's not the season I'm at right now. So you have to be you. We're also going to do videos. We're going to make a My Story video. We're going to create a Facebook post that has your story in it with a nice picture. And I want you to even think about writing a blog. So even if you don't have a blog already, you could even put this on your Beachbody blog site. A blog that tells more about who you are. The more comfortable you get putting it out there about who you are and what your story is, the more you're going to really refine and hone in on your brand. So with that, that's an overview of what we have to expect over the next few days. I really can't wait for you guys to get to know yourselves better, because believe you me, every single one of you is incredibly unique, incredibly special, has gifts to offer people. Don't doubt yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Do your personal development, because that will really help you uncover those things. We're taught so often to not be proud and not be boastful and to not brag about ourselves. Well, I want you to know who you are, what the good things are about you. I want you to understand that the bad things, the negative things don't make you a bad person, right? And think about this. Who can you help by sharing a painful part of your life? Who needs to hear that story? That yes, that can happen to you and you can overcome that. So I'm really excited. I will talk to you guys later. Lots and lots to think about. You can go ahead and get started on making some of those lists right now if you want to get a head start on your homework. I'll talk to you guys later.